welcome to Blockchain Futurist Conference. I had a pleasure of speaking with Adam Kai from Virgo CX. Thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and speaking here and talking about cryptocurrency platforms. This has been a very hot topic for a very long time. A lot of people switched from the traditional investment to cryptocurrencies, and they started to use those platforms. What trends do you see are emerging during the last few years, like how those platforms are evolving, how they are changing?
Sure. I think in general, people's perceptions about cryptocurrencies as an alternative assets have been already established. So I think now people are actively looking for allocating a small percentage of their net wealth into crypto. And I still feel like the speculative element of it has becoming a little bit less compared to back in the days 2017, 2016, when the ICO was very crazy about. So I think in general, now I think there are a lot more people who believe into Bitcoin, who see the value of Ethereum, and they see how crypto and blockchain can change their futures. So I think the industry is actually developing to the right direction with a very healthy condition right now.
Yes. Well, that is very interesting because originally that was considered a very speculative investment with a lot of daily traders, like flipping, buying and selling on the same day. Seems to me that it's evolving into more long-lasting investment when people are seeing that, yes, that can develop within a few years. What are the challenges that those cryptocurrency platforms are actually facing in North America or even perhaps, like globally?
Yeah, sure. I think, in North America, the security regulators, the anti-money laundering authorities have been very proactive in trying to figure out how to regulate the centralized cryptocurrency exchanges. Especially in Canada, the CSA, issued, the notice 2 years ago, and they have been very proactive in regulating any platform that custody clients' assets. So we are actually one of the 8 platforms that currently hold a license with the CSA as restricted dealers. And I'm seeing that there will be more and more regulations in the futures. Obviously, the overall burdens on the industry will be bigger. However, on the other side, I think with the regulation, the supervisions, the trust we can give to the normal users and audience will be bigger, because this is not like old days when people claim I have an MSB license. MSB is not really a license that can regulate trading platforms, right? I think when the security dealers step in, they do provide a very strict framework as how can you obtain insurance, how should you get your SOC passed, and how can you make sure that you have the proper funds to cover any potential risks if ever happens, and what coin you should really list and what coin shouldn't. And they give you a lot of questions to be answered, and give you a lot of questions for you to think about. I think with all this around, I think now we're in a stage where I think the industry kind of work collaboratively, trying to determine what's the best practice and how can we work with the regulators. And this is very important.
But aren't they certain regulatory issues counterproductive to the development of those platforms? Because innovative technologies as they are not used to and to match with the old regulatory system, which was designed a long time ago, decades ago, and it was pertaining to securities, to the equities, to bonds. So is there something what the regulator should be paying attention to when setting up rules and regulations for cryptocurrency platforms?
Yeah, I think cryptocurrency platforms want to do a lot more innovative business lines. However, once we have the license, technically speaking, any new additional business line, we have to receive the approval from the regulators. So there are a few things we're looking at which will bring a lot of values to the Canadian people, such as how can we integrate with DeFi, make sure that we can have, all those DeFi, protocols integrated with the platforms where we can still, follow the regulations, but there isn't a regulations for the DeFi yet. So it's hard for us to launch any product lines for anything to do with DeFi.
Yes.
And the regulators is still trying to wrapping their heads about what is really DeFi. How do they avoid the smart contract risks? How do they understand what's the business risks, market risks for these DeFi protocols? A lot of educations we have to do on that front. And even for the simple things like staking, and we're still working with the regulators to say, okay, how can we enable staking for the clients? But I think that one we're very close to get that passed by the regulators. And for the NFTs, so what is another securities for NFTs? What is securities? And how can we have platforms for people to trade NFTs easily? There's a lot of things there.
Yes. When you're observing people's trading on the platforms, what are mostly like cryptocurrencies that people are looking for? Are they looking for those traditional, well-known, such as Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Yeah, I think, majority speaking, we're seeing most people are still buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. That maybe accounts for 60 to 70% of trading volumes anyway. And people are still taking those two coins as the most favorable coins out of all. But I think because right now is a bearish market, obviously the Ethereum merge gave a little bit of kind of a hype around Ethereum communities. But people are now looking to say, okay, how do I allocate for my remaining 20 to 30% of the assets? Should I buy NFTs?
When it comes to the trading, because at the beginning there was more trading pertaining to the retail industry. And that was all what was all about. The individuals can invest and they can do peer-to-peer transactions. Nowadays, there's more institutional investors. Like how this one is actually waiting nowadays and how you can see this developing in like next 5 to 10 years. Is it going to be still more like people's platform? They are going to be more people's platforms, or they are going to become truly institutional platforms? When it's all taken over, individuals need to go to the institution to deal with cryptocurrencies. How do you see this?
I think that's a fantastic question. You probably have heard about Coinbase has struck a deal with BlackRock
Yes.
a few days ago.
Yes.
So I think this is actually a symbolic movement from the industry where traditional asset management with trillions of dollars now looking to allocate a small portion of the assets into cryptos. And I think this is a trend we're seeing. The industries are, especially institutional investors, now have the necessary structures for them to put some money into this. And I think in terms of the total trading volumes, in the future, my personal belief, a good chunk of it will come from institutions because they have way more money than the retail investors. Mm-hmm. And I think when that comes, we will stabilize the market a lot. Okay. Because those people are not pump and dump or day trading it. So when they buy it, they're going to hold it. And they're going to hold it for the medium to long term. So I think that will help the market to become mature, especially for the coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? I think the mixture and the dynamics will change a little bit. However, I think the individual right now is still very important because in general, like we're capturing 5% of Canadian people who have get access to Bitcoin yet. Like there's still huge market potentials, even for the retail users to grow. And I think that is 10 times at least for us to see in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yes. So, Adam, for those who are trading on those platforms, your 3 main tips to succeed on those platforms?
I think the first one is to make sure if you have never traded a crypto before, don't go to the altcoins on day one. Okay. Just buy your first Bitcoin, not even first, like a little bit of Bitcoin or Ethereum to try it out, get your hands wet. Don't go for high risky tokens. The second, make sure you do a really good research. Don't you go to those scamming websites where it promises you a high returns, where in the end you're gonna lose all your money. Make sure you understand whether the platform has the license, what licenses they have, and how long they have been there.
Do they have insurance?
Yeah, have insurance. As this is very, very important to ensure that your money did not get lost. And it's such a pity because we have seen a lot of people who have not done enough homework and lost money to the scam website. Yeah. This is such a pity. So last but not least, and when you invest in crypto, make sure you have a strong heart.
Okay.
Right? you have to get used to the 10% movement every single day.
Right. Okay, super, Adam. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anna.
Really
Appreciate it.
appreciate it. And thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you.